What I am about to tell you is going to face a lot of resistance, but it's the truth. Discipline is easy. If it were easy, everyone would do it, right? You probably have a mental reel playing right now of every time you tried to stick to a routine and failed, telling yourself that staying focused just isn't in your DNA. That mental block comes from the content you are fed every single day. We are constantly shown extreme routines, like Elon Musk working 100-hour weeks, and sold the idea that this is the standard baseline for success. Or David Goggins waking up at 3 in the morning to run 20 miles in the dark. These individuals do these things because their highly specific professions demand that level of physical and mental toll. They didn't start there, and you certainly don't need to either. When you adopt these elite end-stage routines as your starting line, you aren't building habits. You are setting yourself up to fail, and that chronic failure eats away at your self-esteem, making you fear the very concept of hard work. Expecting to jump straight into a flawless, grueling routine is exactly like trying to summit Mount Everest without ever hiking a small neighborhood hill. When you stare up at a sheer cliff face with zero training, your brain naturally registers panic. By forcing yourself into overwhelming tasks on day one, you train your nervous system to associate discipline with pain and terror. Every highly productive person on Earth started their journey from absolute zero. They developed their endurance slowly, building it up like a muscle over years of minor, consistent repetitions. Your past struggles to stay on track are not a sign of some deep personal flaw. They are the predictable result of a bad strategy, trying to survive peak difficulty without establishing a foundation first. To fix this, look at how human behavior operates. Every task falls into one of two categories, which we can think of as buckets. The first is the timely reminders bucket. These are actions that require practically zero internal struggle. If your phone alarm goes off, drink a glass of water, open a journal, or do 10 push-ups. You just need an external prompt to tell you exactly when to execute. By outsourcing your memory to simple automated triggers, you completely bypass the brain's natural resistance to starting a task. The friction vanishes. The second category is completely different, the willpower bucket. These are high-friction actions demanding internal mental force. You know you scheduled a gym session for 4 p.m., but when the time comes, you feel exhausted. You must actively push yourself to get it done. Here is where most ambitious people crash. They try to cram a dozen high-friction tasks into an untrained willpower bucket all at once. The container breaks, and burnout sets in by Tuesday. Lasting momentum comes from a different approach entirely. You use the low-friction reminders bucket to quietly train your brain, expanding the physical capacity of your difficult willpower bucket over time. To start this expansion from absolute zero, you need domino habits, tiny, effortless actions that trigger massive psychological momentum. The very first domino is meditation. You set 3 alarms on your phone throughout the day. Whenever one rings, you simply sit and meditate for 5 minutes. Scientific research suggests that regular meditation can physically increase the density of gray matter in the prefrontal cortex, the area of the brain responsible for self-control and focus. Over time, these structural changes make the act of resisting distraction feel less like a struggle and more like a default state. The second habit is waking up at the exact same time every single day, completely abandoning the snooze button. Research suggests how your day begins influences the decisions you make for the rest of it. By rejecting the snooze button, you achieve an immediate victory that signals to your brain that long-term goals take priority over momentary physical comfort. These first 2 steps are effective because they use the simple mechanics of phone alarms to facilitate deep psychological endurance training. Habit number 3 is never skipping your daily physical workout. Even if it is just 10 push-ups in your living room, you do it. We usually treat exercise as a purely physical metric, but its highest value is cognitive. Pushing through physical discomfort builds the exact stress management skills required to stay committed across every other area of your life. The fourth and final habit is significantly reducing or entirely eliminating your sugar intake. Spiking your blood sugar leads to inevitable energy crashes that impair your cognitive function. When your brain is foggy and drained, the fuel required to run your willpower engine disappears. You don't have to train for 2 hours a day like Virat Kohli to win at your own life. Your daily priorities are different. Mastering these small, predictable dominoes builds the momentum needed to tackle larger obstacles. By focusing on the mechanics of easy habits first, the most difficult challenges eventually lose their weight and become effortless.